Green glowing UFO captured near Mars. Mysterious cylindrical craft spotted above Mars sparks alien theories and scientific debate. Newly released images of an interstellar object soaring through our solar system have ignited a storm of speculation among astronomers and UFO enthusiasts alike. The object, officially designated 3I Atlas, was recently photographed by NASA's Perseverance rover on the Martian surface, and what it captured appears nothing short of extraordinary. Now, let's explore this story in depth on today's AI podcast.
Welcome to the deep dive. You know, it's funny how sometimes the biggest mysteries just pop up unexpectedly. Like NASA's Perseverance rover just doing its thing, flying over Mars.
Right, just taking routine pictures with his nav cam.
Exactly. And then suddenly, in one of those photos over the Martian desert, there's this object that has basically thrown the scientific world into two completely opposite camps.
Absolutely. We're talking about 3I Atlas. Now, we already knew it was interstellar, from outside our solar system.
Yeah.
But this image, it just changed the game. The sources we've looked at all focus on this core thing. Perseverance seems to have captured a massive cylindrical object way up high.
And that phrase alone, right? Massive cylindrical object. It's just
Yeah.
pure fuel for speculation. So, okay, our mission today in this deep dive is to really try and navigate this whole scientific clash.
Yeah, get past the instant social media takes.
Definitely. We need to look at the actual visual evidence, really unpack these two totally conflicting theories. One saying, hold on, it's just a camera glitch, and the other arguing, no, this could be like an actual spacecraft.
And crucially, we need to look at why we're still waiting for the definitive proof.
Yeah.
What's the holdup with the observation efforts that could actually settle this?
It feels like we're right on the edge, waiting for that one piece of data that tells us if we're looking at alien tech or just, I don't know, a really weird space rock.
Exactly. So this deep dive is about laying out those arguments
Yeah.
so you can understand why this delay, this silence, is causing so much global buzz right now.
Okay, let's get into it. Start at the beginning, Perseverance, taking pictures, and boom, this shape appears in the navcam image. And the description wasn't subtle. Massive, elongated, just weird.
And that's the kicker, isn't it? That cylindrical shape. That was the first thing that launched, like 1,000 theories online.
Mm-hmm.
But our sources also point out it wasn't just the shape. There were these other visual details, specifically this faint green glow accompanying the object.
Okay, wow. A faint green glow and a shape like a giant cigar or, I don't know, a cosmic log. That's like the perfect recipe for going instantly viral.
Oh, absolutely. And, before the scientists could even properly publish anything formal, the internet was already sharing these color-enhanced photos.
And deciding it was definitely aliens.
Pretty much.
Ah.
Which brings us straight to the scientific disagreement. And the first major argument comes from, a slightly unexpected place given his background. We're talking Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb.
Avi Loeb, the Oumuamua guy, the one who's usually pretty open to the idea of, extraterrestrial explanations for weird space stuff.
That's him. He's famous for exactly that, linking anomalies to possible alien tech. But here, with 3I Atlas and this Perseverance image, his analysis is actually surprisingly cautious. He's kind of the skeptic this time.
Hold on. If anyone was going to say cylindrical spacecraft, you'd think it'd be Loeb. So what's his angle here? Why is he pumping the brakes?
Well, he's focusing on the camera, on the optics, rather than jumping straight to the alien hypothesis. Loeb's conclusion is that this dramatic long cylinder shape, it's probably not what 3I Atlas actually looks like.
Okay. So how does he explain it then?
He puts it down to a known issue, a kind of photographic distortion effect that the navcam itself can produce.
Can you break that down? How does a camera take something, I don't know, roundish and stretch it into a giant cosmic log?
So it's basically about time and motion. The navcam didn't just take one quick picture, like your phone might. Our sources confirm it actually combined hundreds of individual frames, taken one after another over about 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
Right. And because the object, 3I Atlas, was moving relative to the rover during that time, the image processing essentially smeared it out. It stretched the data along the path of its movement. So something that might have been smaller or rounder or maybe just less dramatically long gets elongated into this cosmic log shape. He calls it a camera artifact. Pretty straightforward, optically speaking.
Huh. So the shape that has everyone either terrified or, wildly excited, it could just be a trick of the light on Mars mixed with a long exposure time.
That's Loeb's core argument. The shape is an illusion created by the camera process. But And this is where it gets really interesting and why everyone is still throwing resources at this thing. Even if he's right about the shape being an artifact, Loeb still says 3 Eyelass itself is extraordinary.
Why extraordinary? If the shape's fake.
Because of the size.
Yeah.
Based on the speed they could estimate and the distance readings from Perseverance, he did the math on how big the actual object must be, regardless of the stretched image.
Right.
And his estimate is just massive, potentially over 28 miles in diameter.
Whoa, hang on. 28 miles. Okay, well, yeah, we can't just brush past that. Whether it looks like a cigar because of the camera or it's actually a sphere, 28 miles across fundamentally changes what this thing is. That's not just some random asteroid.
Exactly. That's enormous. Planetary scale almost. If that diameter holds up, 3I TLAS is way, way too big to be a normal comet or asteroid we'd expect to see wandering in from interstellar space.
Yeah.
It puts it in this category of like ultra-rare giant interstellar objects.
So the debate isn't really if it's a big deal. It clearly is. It's what kind of big deal. Is it a giant natural phenomenon or something else?
Precisely. Is it a massive natural bowling ball hurtling through space, or is it something engineered? So Loeb says, shape is fake, size is stunning, probably natural. But that's not the only interpretation out there.
Right, because then we have the counter-argument. Dr. Horace Drew, retired from Australia's CSIRO, he looks at the same Perseverance data and comes to a totally different conclusion.
Totally different. Drew pretty much dismisses the camera artifact idea. He leans right into the possibility that this could actually be an interstellar spacecraft. You put it very plainly, it is not a comet.
Okay, so he's taking the image more at face value.
Yes. He argues the visual evidence from Perseverance is significant, and he offers explanations for the features that the artifact theory doesn't really cover well.
Like the green glow, that seems hard to explain as just a camera glitch. How does Drew interpret that?
Well, he connects it to potential materials. Drew suggested that faint green color might be caused by a nickel coating on the object's surface.
Nickel coating. Why nickel?
It's not just a random guess. He specifically points out that nickel coating is used on space probes we build right here on Earth. It's used to reflect harmful radiation. So his thinking is, if 3I Aeolus is some kind of highly engineered craft designed for really long journeys between stars, that kind of protective reflective coating would make sense. It protects the insides.
Okay. That's a pretty specific and compelling link. Suggests design, not just random chemistry. But just the Mars photo and the glow, is that enough to counter the artifact theory? Did Drew have anything else?
He did, and this is maybe the strongest part of his case, why it's got people talking. He pointed to evidence from an amateur astronomer, someone observing from Earth.
Okay.
This amateur astronomer apparently managed to capture an image showing, well, almost the exact same thing, an elongated white shape. And critically, with that same kind of distinct greenish outer halo.
Wait, so the same weird features, long shape, green edge, seen from Mars by Perseverance and from Earth by completely different telescopes.
That's the claim. If true, it seriously undermines the idea that it's just a quirk of the Perseverance navcam, right?
Yeah.
If different instruments at different locations see the same thing, then maybe the shape is real. Okay, that makes sense. But then the big question is, if it is genuinely this huge cylinder, why didn't all the big, powerful telescopes that were tracking 3I Caelus before see this shape? They've been watching it for a while.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Drew has an explanation for that too, and it's actually pretty neat. He suggested that all those earlier telescope views, the ones that didn't show a cylinder, they might have been looking at it from a head-on angle.
Ah, like looking at the end of a pencil. Exactly. If you look at the pencil point first, it just looks like a little circle or dot. You don't see the length. He argues Perseverance just happened to catch it from the side, from a profile view, revealing its true elongated structure for the first time. It kind of neatly ties together the older data with this dramatic new picture.
Okay. So, wow. We are really stuck between two incredible possibilities. Either it's a massive camera artifact masking an even larger natural object, like Loeb suggests.
Or, as Drew argues, it's a genuine, maybe nickel-coated interstellar ship confirmed by sightings from both Mars and Earth.
What we desperately need now is the tiebreaker, the deciding vote.
And that tiebreaker is supposed to come from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, MRO. The absolute critical next step is getting the high-resolution pictures from its HiRISE camera.
Right. We need to explain HiRISE quickly. The first pics were NavCam.
Yeah, NavCam is basically for driving the rover. Functional, gets the job done, but not super detailed. High-resolution imaging science experiment is different. It's like this powerful telescope orbiting Mars.
So it can zoom way in.
Way in. It can see things with incredible detail, far beyond what the rover on the ground can manage. HiRISE has the power to definitively show us the structure of 3I Atlas. We'd see either the giant sphere or natural-shaped Lobeck specks, or the clear cylinder Drew is arguing for. It should settle it.
Sounds simple enough. Get the high-rise image, end the debate, but there's a huge problem, a really frustrating, and some might say suspicious, delay.
Absolutely. And the reason is infuriatingly down to earth. NASA's operations got temporarily shut down because of a lapse in U.S. government funding.
You're kidding.
Nope. A budget fight in Washington means the high-rise image, arguably the single most important piece of astronomical data right now, can't be processed, analyzed, or released. It's basically locked away due to politics.
Talk about cosmic irony. We might have proof of aliens or at least something unprecedented and it's stuck in budget limbo. Okay, but what about other countries? The European Space Agency, ESA, did they get a look?
They did. ESA managed to observe 3I Atlas using two different orbiters, Mars Express and the ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter. So they got data.
Great. So what did they see?
Well, that's the next frustration. They confirmed they have the observations, but they immediately put out an official warning. It could take days, maybe even weeks, to properly process and release what they found. They cited the complexity, the amount of data. Basically, don't hold your breath.
Okay, so NASA's offline because of funding. ESI has data, but says it'll take ages. The immediate result of all this. Predictable, I guess.
Completely predictable. A massive explosion of online speculation. The scientific puzzle has instantly morphed into, well, a potential conspiracy theory. It's fueled by what one source called the global silence.
The global silence. Yeah, I can see that.
And the online chatter, it's interesting, it's shifted away from just the science artifact versus spacecraft and straight into geopolitics. People are assuming cover-up. We saw this one comment going viral that just perfectly captures that mood, that suspicion.
What did it say?
It went something like, okay, NASA shut down is suspicious timing, fine. The ESA dragging its feet is strange. But China being totally silent when they'd normally jump at the chance to show off catching something NASA missed. That's the real sign something huge is happening behind closed doors.
Wow. The idea being, if China isn't bragging, they must be hiding something even bigger. It's the ultimate result of this information vacuum, isn't it? The whole world knows that potentially world-changing data exists, but nobody's releasing it.
Exactly. And every hour that passes, the silence itself becomes the story, and the most extreme possibilities feel more plausible. The sentiment is just palpable. All eyes are on 3I Atlas, but suddenly the silence is deafening. It creates this pressure cooker where not knowing feels almost bigger than whatever the final answer might be.
So let's try and pull this together. We started with this image from Mars, what looks like a giant cylinder. We've dug into the two main camps. Avi Loeb saying, no, camera trick, but the object is still enormous, 28 miles wide, probably natural.
And then Dr. Horace Drew countering, no, the shape is real. The green glow suggests nickel coating. Earth sightings back it up. This could be an interstellar craft.
The tension is incredible. And the whole thing hinges on one set of images from one instrument, that high-rise camera orbiting Mars. We're literally waiting for a picture.
One high-res photo that will either confirm, sophisticated non-human tech, or maybe the weirdest, biggest camera glitch in space exploration history.
And until that data gets unstuck from budget issues or ESA finishes processing, the questions just hang there. And that fuels all the speculation the scientists probably hate.
And, that delay itself, that deafening silence, it really raises a final kind of provocative thought for you, the listener. Our sources show how quickly the public narrative jumped to cover-ups and secrecy just because the official answers weren't instant. So if we accept that 3I Atlas, whatever it is genuinely one of the most extraordinary things humans have ever observed. What does this frantic need for immediate official confirmation tell us about how ready we actually are for something truly, truly extraordinary? If the silence continues, if the data stays locked up for whatever reason, will people ever really accept a mundane explanation later, like a big rock or an optical effect? Or has this information gap, this waiting period, already convinced too many people that we're dealing with something governments simply can't or won't admit?
Well, actually, what is it? Okay, one question for you. Do you trust scientists like Avi Loeb, who are open to alien explanations, or those who call it just another comet? Don't forget to comment it. Thanks.